understanding the 50,000-foot view of a modern cloud architecture is the undisputed first step. But how do you go beyond that? Well, the undisputed second step is to go out and build something in AWS. Now, I wish that were more obvious, but unfortunately, there's this odd trend where folks believe their first step should be to go out and get an AWS certification. Look, going after one of those first is like thinking the written part of driving tests is all that matter. You can know every single rule of the road, but if you've never tried to parallel park, your ability to fill in multiple choice questions is not going to help. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Having worked with thousands of folks through AWS DevOps, it's unfortunately common to have people come through to us with 3 to 5 of these certifications and not know how to do a single thing. Now, this isn't their fault. It's more the fault of the organizations that play these up to be as if they're skills training. But keep that in mind. Certification training is not skills training. All you're going to learn in those programs is how to pass a test. That's it. And those tests are just like every other standardized test in the world. They generally test for weird edge cases and special scenarios to see how thoroughly you've explored the documentation and their white papers. And so, though you'll certainly be able to play Jeopardy, incredibly, if they added a section for AWS, you're not going to be any closer to the actual skills. And by the way, I am speaking from experience. When I first got started, that was unfortunately the first step that I took as well. I went out, got certified, volunteered to spearhead a project for my company in AWS, and realized that I had no clue what to do when it came to implementation. And so if you're serious about getting these skills under your belt, go out and build something in AWS. I don't care what employer you're targeting or what project you're looking to build. Having a full-blown infrastructure and project live on the web that says, look, I can do this stuff, here it is going to look better than a couple of certifications that continually to, deal with inflation, because every single person seems to be getting them nowadays because they're not really that difficult to grab. And of course, if you're building your own thing, if you're a technical entrepreneur, for example, well, this point should be even more obvious. Now, if you are interested in taking this step, I do run a fully featured program called the AWS DevOps Master Workshop. And this is an 8-week online program crafted to teach you all you need to know to work with AWS professionally. What do we build? Well, every single thing we just finished talking about. So I'm going to hop over here to the curriculum, and throughout the workshop, we'll cover every one of these main topics and build out this infrastructure end to end. And not only is this updated and ready for this year, but we keep it updated regularly. So you're working with the latest and the greatest instead of trying to sift through something outdated. We also put a lot of preparation and time into the actual lectures themselves. So let me just give you an example here. We'll go into one where we're setting up the testing environment for an API. When you look at this stuff, we also have a full set of steps so that you can follow and not get lost in the videos. And also all of the code samples are available to you as well, so that, you don't have to get lost in typos and things like that. And speaking of text guides, once you get through the end of the program, right there at the end, we actually take everything we do and we turn it into a nice step-by-step, and we just call it our master text guide on how to set all this stuff up. And this is the perfect reference for when you go to build this stuff out in the future, and you don't necessarily remember all of it, but you don't want to go through all of the videos all over again. And oh, by the way, yes, if you complete our final project and tests of the workshop, you will get our Master Workshop Completion Certification. Except this one will actually mean something because it'll be backed up by real action and implementation, and you'll have a project that you can take and show other people. And finally, we do a Slack channel with live support, so we do a live question and answer, community events, and all sorts of extras to make sure that you know this stuff. Okay, if this sounds interesting to you, I'll link to the workshop below this video, but do know we only run it every so often, so just stay tuned for the next time we open it. Since you're in this course, you'll get notified by email when we begin our next run-through.